made it through what's just a bit of a zephyr out there at the moment compared to what we're expecting. Any concerns about the weather for sport, for football?
I think tomorrow, Tim's not too bad. If it stays sort of not too windy, it'll be fine. Sunday's the problem because we've got the Women's FA Cup final down at the Bowl now. It's on a 3G pitch, so you'd expect it to be fine. But if there's any sort of safety questions being asked, then we'll have to seriously look at it. But at the moment, the weather forecast looks as if it's improving. Sunday afternoon. Yes, there will be a little bit of drizzle. The women are hardy. There's going to be no problem there. But certainly tomorrow we should be okay because it's been a pretty well dry week, and the pitches with that window have sort of, I think, accepted what's come to them because it'll just dry them up a little bit and make it easier.
OK, well, we mentioned in the preamble there that St Mary's are away at Douglas Royal. They're in great form at the moment with 6 straight wins in the Premier League, and they're starting to pull away.
They are starting to pull away, but there's some interesting fixtures coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. When you look at next week, possibly, we're still working on them, rearranged fixtures. They might have a game against Old Boys, and then they've got Russian and Peel to play. So at the moment, they're doing everything that's asked for them is to take the points, maximum points against the clubs that are well below them. Douglas Royal, tricky little fixture could be, Tim, because the Junior Ireland team is made up of a lot of Douglas Royal players. I think there's 8 in there.
Yeah.
Harry Horbury in goal is a really good goalkeeper, and when you look at Tom Chattell's form in front of goal, you've got Sam Baines in there as well, who'll make things tricky. Callum Sherry is in there as well. That's a good nucleus. I would think that Michael Fitzmaurice is quite happy with the team he's got. Yes, the players will pick themselves up and really go for this one. And with it being on their pitch up at Ballafletcher, I think it probably helps them a little bit. Bull's big. St Mary's play it really well. But when you look at St Mary's, Josh Kelly back in last week scored a goal. And with everybody else that is in there so strong, then I think St Mary's will fancy the chances. But Douglas Royal, they've got to be careful of that one. They're a lot better than they were at the start of the season.
Well, the 2 teams immediately behind them, Peel and St George's, don't have games tomorrow afternoon. 4th place Russian at home to Laxey.
Yeah, and Russian always, battle well. I watched them last week against Foxdale in the Cup, and even though it was only 3-0, they were always in control. Greg Norris, a couple of goals by him, and, he's a good player, and there seems to be rumours that he might be going back shortly. I don't know, but he's been a good player, and I'm pretty certain that Paul Jones would probably include him in the Ireland squad if he stays here. But, against Laxey, terrific start to the season. They're in no worries of where they are. All they've got to do is keep these young players developing. And, Johnny Palmer, I think, has done a great job. When he took that position over, it was a little bit unknown where Laxey could go. But I think last year they struggled big time. Towards the end, they got enough points on board to stay in the league, as where this year, absolutely terrific start. And, Railway Cup qualification was being talked about. But I think, the players that they've got there, Jordan Cooper, the top goal scorer in the league, and it just shows you, how strong they are. Then they'll have a real good pop at Russian, but I just think Russian are too strong.
And 5th place Corinthians, they're travelling up to Ramsey, and after 2 losses in a row, they have managed to put 3 wins back to back.
Well, they have, and Ramsey again, another young side, and I've been looking at the team sheets over the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot of good young players in there, and that bodes well for the future. As well with Corinthians, they've got a lot of players. I think everybody's fit, so it gives Blaine Slattery a bit of a selection problem there because he's keeping them all happy and just finding out his best team because he's still learning the job but doing a terrific job at it. But I think Ramsey, the pitch, I don't know how it is now, Tim, because I know it struggled over the last couple of weeks where we've had some real wet weather. So whether it's okay, we'll wait and see. But I just think Corinthians should just have enough to win it.
Marown against Douglas Athletic and Old Boys against Pulrose, the other 2 top flight games on tomorrow. In Division 2, Colby are in the big game again. They go away to Foxdale at Billygoat Park. You would expect, I think, the rivals, St John's, Union Mills and Dare, all to win, would you?
Yeah, I would say so. Jims and Union Mills, I'd expect Millers to take that one. St John's against Michael. at Michael. Sorry, that could be a little bit closer than we think because they've done all right. But that game, as you say, Foxdale v Colby. I was impressed by Foxdale last week. It was a difficult fixture for them against Russian, but they stuck to the task. There were 2 or 3 players missing, and they still had a pop at Russian. They didn't have too many chances, but the ones that they had, a little bit more maybe calmness, and it could have been quite different. But Foxdale still in with a chance. They played a lot of games less than when you look at what Colby have played. They've still got a lot of games in hand, but you just wonder if it's going to be the same scenarios we have over the last couple of years. There's so many games towards the end of the season. The pressure's on them, the injuries come in, and they find it difficult. But I think this one's got draw on it.
Colby, great form at the moment. They've won the majority of the last 7. I think 1 draw in there. So great run of form.
Yeah, they've won them in style too, Tim, and I've watched them a couple of times. And at the moment, we've mentioned it, Carl Hickey, Luke Roberts, they've done really well.
Plus, they'll be buzzing from last week, knocking out Douglas Athletic.
Well, exactly. It was a fantastic result, and it just shows where they are. And they're a big club, Tim. That's a big facility down there. They've built the stand as well, which is brilliant. Keeps everyone out of the weather. And
they'll need it tomorrow game there.
Exactly.
Well, no, they were in the combi team. That will.
And fair play to them because, a couple of years ago, or just 18 months ago, when they changed the management ship over after 6 games, that was a big ask, but it's gone really well for them. Adam Fretwell's done a really good job, and I just wonder if they can maybe get promoted, but there's a lot more football to go yet.
There is. It's a fascinating contest in Division 2. Let's give you the other games. Ayr play Maloo, Douglas and District Governors Athletic, Jims against Union Mills, Michael against St John's, and Ramsey Youth Centre against Onken. There is a game on tonight, Tony, St John's v Michael in Combi 2.
Yeah, game on. It'll be pretty chilly as well, so wrap up. And the Friday nights are good. The boys are enjoying them because there's not too many Division 2 sides have played under lights, and I think it's really good. There was 8, I think there was, Tim, of the 13. Obviously St John's has won, so 4 teams opted out of it, but the first teams and combinations have taken it on board to play under lights, and it's great. And let's just hope in years to come that we get a few more pitches with floodlights.
Kerry is looking after greatest hits and is going to give you a little bit of time for Football Focus. Who have you got?
Yeah, it's really good. And Union Mills we're going to feature tonight. Stephen Fox is coming up, the manager, and also Ryan Kelly. And Ryan's just done his level 1, I think it is. So we're going to find a little bit about coaching as well, because Union Mills, good setup up there. They're looking to rebuild their youth football, and we're going to have a little look to see what plans they've got for the next 1-2 years.